Alright, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this kind of sunny day on September 22nd, 2019. It's been about a week since I did a video. It's been chaos. Work has been busy, but life is good and I am alive and I am happy. My life is going to get a little bit better as the wife comes home next Saturday. We'll be taking a little vacation, so I'll be radio dark for a couple of days. Just my wife's been in the hospital under treatment and she's out, and we are going to enjoy our time together, and then we'll go from there. So expect to see me. Don't expect another video until probably a week from now, week and a half from now. Not next week. I may get another video out during the week. I don't know. I'm basically doing the single dad routine right now, and so it's kind of hard to record. Although after the kid goes to bed about 7:30, 8 o'clock, it's life is a little bit better. But anyway, it's a busy week. This guy. Let me raise my chair here. I'm low riding. Sporting my Deadpool shirt because hey, it's Deadpool, and he's the merc with the mouth. Things are going good, guys. My job is going great. My wife is getting healthy. My son is amazing. He's getting bigger and brighter every day, doing cool stuff. And big changes coming down the line. I hope I will expound upon more as time provides. Right now, we're just living the dream, and we're going day to day, which is all any of us can do. Today, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. As always, like and subscribe. Thank you to the new subscribers who just subscribed. Very much appreciated. I hope you enjoy the content. I think I've got over 200 videos in the archive there, so plenty to keep you busy. Please go watch them and feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Let's grow the Meanie Army. I enjoy making these videos. I do it for my own personal sanity and for fun. And we got a lot to cover today, but if you'd like to help support the channel, I am on ZellyPay. It's linked in with your online banking through your mobile app for your bank if you're in any of the major banks here in the U.S. If you would prefer to send a donation via PayPal, I am on PayPal PayMe. There is a little link on my YouTube channel in the upper right-hand corner there. So feel free to use that. I'm also on MeWe and I'm on Discord. Mr. Mean Speaks. Just drop a message there. There's also a permanent Discord link on my YouTube channel. So, if you found this video, you should be able to get to that. And just know that any donation you give is greatly appreciated and it goes back into the channel. I got a couple of donations a couple of months ago, so I bought this awesome chair. I'm a real YouTuber now. I have a YouTube chair. But I will say it's a comfy chair, and I'm glad I got it, and thanks to you guys, I was able to afford it. Money's always tight, as we know, so anything you can give is greatly appreciated, and know that it does go back into the channel. So, a couple of things today. Video du jour here. We got we're going to be all over the place. This is kind of a couple of things have been building up, and a couple of things I want to talk about. And I wanted to just hit a couple of topics here. So not anything in particular. We're going to be all over the place. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to the guys at Arknight.com. If you don't know who they are, they make flat plastic miniatures. And they are some of the coolest things I have found. I knew about these guys for a while, and I did a review when I got my miniatures in the mail. I did a review. And I also got the Paizo miniatures, and I have to say I was thoroughly disappointed in the Paizo miniatures. The quality wasn't there. The cardstock was superb. They were nice and thick. I think they would hold up, and if you really dig the Paizo art, I highly recommend getting them, but I didn't like the fact that it was the same image on both sides. I mean, when you use a 3D miniature, you have a front and a back, and of course sides because it's 3D. In 2D miniatures, I get, that you may not necessarily get the sides, but you should at least have a front and a back. And the Paizo miniatures, at least the pack that I bought for like $25, did not have a rear. They were the same miniature on each side. So like facing, if you're using miniatures, you're using miniatures, so you want a representation of what's on the board. And I just felt that the Paizo miniatures didn't do that. And I think they tried to, in my opinion, they crammed too much onto each sheet in order to punch them out, and I was thoroughly unimpressed with them. A lot of like their weapons were cut off, or the top of their heads were cut off, or their feet. It just, to me, if they would have, not have tried, not, I guess not to be greedy, that's a lack of a bad term there. I think if they would have tried not to put so much on each sheet, maybe left 1 or 2 miniatures off of each sheet, excuse me, it would have gone a long way to, they would have been able to fit it in and maybe not have to make the pogs a little bit bigger, and they would have worked better. But for my money, I was not happy with them, and I didn't like them, so I sent them back. It's the joy of Amazon. If you don't like it, you send it back. So I got my money back, and what I did with that money is I reinvested it into some more Arknight miniatures, and the 2 sets I got. Go in the archives, watch the other video review. I showed off a bunch of the miniatures. I'm not going to do that here. Like I said, we're going to be all over the place today, but I got the forest creatures for Arknight, and this is I'll leave that up there for a second. You can zip that QR code, and that'll take you right to it. And I want to say, I don't remember the price, I'm sorry. It wasn't terribly expensive though. And I also got the forest woodland creatures, and then the orcs. This is, I think, the 4 woodland creatures. But again, you can scan that QR code, and comes with round bases. And so these are some of the miniatures I got. I'm not going to go crazy with them, but I just want to show a couple off. Put it over my forehead so you can see it real well. So there's a goblin, and then I got, like I said, I got a whole bunch of different ones. And then I got this. I am going to say one nitpicky thing about these, and it's for consistency. I'm not a fan of their lack of consistency, and maybe this is something, if you guys know, let me know. Maybe I'm wrong, but some of these miniatures have the rounded tops, okay, and some have square, and there's no consistency. So at first I thought the rounded tops were PCs. I thought these were maybe to differentiate between monsters and PCs or NPCs. But there appears to be no rhyme or reason. I got the woodland creatures, which has a lot of, playable type races, some elves and some halflings, and and things like that. And I'm running Pathfinder, so of course goblins are a playable race now for me. And it's just it's an OCD thing with me. I like everything to be the same, if at all possible. And so some of these have round bases, and some of them have square bases, as you can see. So when you're sitting these on the table and they're clear little slot bases, it just looks different, and it annoys me. That's my only pet peeve. I wish they would find a format and stick to it. Or if the NPCs are all square miniatures, and then the monsters are round, or vice versa, let's stick with that. But what I am going to say is, for the price point, these are a little pricey, but what you pay in price, you save in storage. Does that make sense? And what I mean by that is, you can't see it, and I'm not going to readjust my camera, but you see that plastic bin right there. I have a huge one of those, a big tub underneath my hobby desk right here on the opposite side of my office, and it has, Lord knows how many, plastic miniatures from both Paizo and D&D. And while they're great, it's hard to organize them. It's hard to storage them. And everyone says, oh, well, just put them in Ziploc bags. But then you got 300 Ziploc bags, or you've got 300 little boxes with different miniatures, and you got to dig through all the boxes. And of course, you can write on the box, orc, for like those plastic storage boxes, like that shoe box behind me. These are basically like a shoebox, and you could put a bunch in there, but what if you've only got 5 or 6? They do make smaller ones. But again, you're spending more money, and on top of that, you're spending the money to get the miniatures. So it's a lot of cost, and then the storage space as well. I mean, nobody lives in, well, hopefully none of my listeners, maybe you do, but most of my listeners probably don't live in a mansion and don't have unlimited storage. I know I don't. This is it. This is all I've got for my hobby space. If it starts filling into the other room, the wife is like, you got to get rid of stuff. We don't want to get rid of stuff. We like our stuff. But anyway, this is the great part about this. Here's my storage solution. Ziploc bags, baby. They lay pretty flat. I can put a ton of these. I can put them in a binder. I can put them in a backpack and just have them with me. This is the large orcs and goblinoids, you can see. Just wrote on there, and as I get more, I can slap them in here. And then this is the dragons and large minis. I've got what I deem as PC races are all in here, so when we're making characters for a fantasy game, I can say, here, grab something that's the closest that it resembles you. And then their bases. Now, the bases take up a little space, but again, you don't need to buy a whole lot of bases because this is more bases than I'll probably ever need. And there's large, medium, and small bases on here, so I'm good. And then, of course, the superheroes. And like I said, you can go back and check my other review and see. I hope they make some more superheroes. They do have Deadlands. They do have the Last Parsec, which I am going to pick up because I do like running the Last Parsec. But yeah, that's the stuff, guys. It's super cool. So I was happy to pick up these two sets. Like I said, the woodland creatures and the orcs and goblinoids, and extremely happy with them. I do plan on getting some more. And let me know if you guys use them. They do get the Mr. Mean seal of approval because I think they're awesome. We played with them last night in my Pathfinder 2.0 game, and everyone loved them. They thought the miniatures were great. And I'm using orcs as my bad guys, so it worked out really well because I had plenty of orcs, so it worked out. And then we'll segue into Pathfinder 2.0. I ran about 3 sessions now. All 3 sessions have involved some character creation because I used the Hero Labs online generator for my first session, and it's a web-based. It's their Hero Lab Online. And in theory, it's a great concept. I love it. It was easy to make the characters. It whipped them out. The problem is it's full of bugs, and all my characters were wrong. And I was very unhappy about that because I spent money on that. I spent, $20-$30 on that to buy the license and everything for Hero Lab. And now I find out that Hero Lab has no plans to support Pathfinder 2.0 in their program for Hero Lab. Like right now, they have regular Pathfinder. They have no plans to support Pathfinder outside of the Hero Lab Online, and that's a travesty because it's just not ready. It caused confusion and problems in my game. The characters were wrong, and I just wasn't happy with it, and it just sucks. There's nothing worse than, having questions. You're looking on your character sheet, and then you go to the book and find out that it's completely wrong. And that happened to all of the characters. I had 5 players, and every player's character had something wrong with it. And it's not the way I built the character because the program tells you how to build the character. So the programming is wrong. They don't have everything ironed out. And I mean, once they get it all figured out, I'm sure it will be fantastic. Rob over at Lone Wolf and all of his crew are fantastic guys. I'm a beta tester from Realm Works, and it's one of the most amazing programs I've ever used. I highly recommend it. I plan on doing a video of it one day. But just the Hero Lab Online for Pathfinder 2.0 is not ready, and it's not a viable solution. So if you were thinking like I was, hey, I'll just jump online to use Hero Lab and I'll belt out a bunch of player characters, wrong. It won't work. I mean, you can play the game, but you're going to have inconsistencies. You're going to have errors, and it's just not going to work right, and it's not going to be fun. And let's face it, we do this for fun. So if we're not having fun and it becomes an exercise in frustration, and you're constantly having to make excuses for the character you made online to save time, but yet that time you saved in making the characters online is now wasted because you're continuously referring to the rule book, then you're doing everybody a disservice. So I would recommend they pull the product and they retool it, get it fixed, make sure it works, release it to several people, their beta testers, and have them tear it apart and put it back together again and make sure that it's working properly. Because right now it's useless. And that's a shame because it's a very cool tool. It prints out a really neat looking character sheet. I like the Hero Lab format. Everybody was impressed with their characters and everything like that. It's just when we started using it, we saw all the problems. So anyway, right now we spent 2 hours last night or Friday night making characters, and that was fine. We got very cool characters. So if you haven't given Pathfinder 2.0 a try, go back in the archives, watch my review of it. make an informed opinion. But I'm really liking it. In fact, we're liking it so much that I think the consensus is we're going to dump D&D Midgard, and we're going to go to Pathfinder 2.0 Midgard, because yeah, we won't be able to have the statistics and the rules for the Midgard specific characters, but all the races and stuff we can fudge, and we can make it work in Pathfinder 2.0. And so I think what I'm going to do is we're going to have a character creation night where we remake our characters in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And with the Lost Omens book, I think it's either out or it's about to come out, I'm going to pick it up. I'll probably also order the PDF, and then that way I'll be able to help. That should have some more stuff in there for the players to make some characters, and then we'll go from there. So anyway, so running Pathfinder 2.0, converting it over to Midgard, all my D&D books will work. The Midgard World book will work because it's 99% fluff, and that'll be perfect. That's all I need. When I need to refer to a section, I can just refer to there, and then we can go from there. But I like these rules a lot better than D&D. I'm not saying D&D is a bad game. I'm just saying I like the Pathfinder 2.0 rules a lot better. We're all first level characters right now, so they're still learning what they can and can't do. But the hero points in the 3 action economy is the bomb. It just works really well, and it just beats D&D hands down. You have a lot more flexibility. There's more things you can do, and it's really well done. So enough of Pathfinder. We know that Mr. Mean's running it and enjoying it. The other thing I picked up is I got my Suede PDF. I did not back the Kickstarter. For those of you that are new to my channel, I'll tell you right now, I have a love-hate relationship with Kickstarter. I think, in my opinion, Kickstarter is for small press, indie publishers, and guys working out of the garage that are trying to make it in the industry, and they need some financial help to help make their product. I don't think Kickstarter is a pre-order system that large publications or publishers should use in order to dictate how many books they should print. I think that is a misuse of the purpose of Kickstarter. That's my opinion. Your mileage may vary. You may not agree, and that's fine. And the reason I say that is I look at guys like Monty Cook. He's done, and I have a review with James Gantry from Feral Games Inc., who is a small press publisher who's trying to make it in this industry, and we all have so much money. And I think it does, the large corporations do the smaller corporations a disservice. Everybody's trying for a slice of the pie, and I get that. That's called commerce, that's called economy, that's called free market enterprise, and I get it. But I think the vast majority of us aren't aware of these small press game companies out there that are making amazing things. I mean, Arknight is a small press company. It's 2 guys working out of a garage with a special printer that they hack and get it to print this stuff. This is not normal. You can, but it's not easy. Do this at home yourself. But these guys have got it down, and they make it work, and they've run a small business out of this. If somebody needs to go to Kickstarter, it's these guys, because they need that capital, that income to get stuff running and pay for parts and everything. Paizo, thankfully, doesn't do Kickstarters, at least not that I'm aware of. Monty Cook, everything goes to Kickstarter, and I just think that's a travesty. I think Monty Cook is such a well-known author and publisher of games that he can walk to a print shop or a printing house, and he can say, I want to print 10,000 copies of this book, and they'll go, okay, and they'll give it to him on credit, no questions asked, because he's such a big name in the industry. It will happen, and the publisher knows, and the printing house knows the books are going to sell. So they're going to get their money. And on top of that, at this point in the game, he has enough money in the bank to pay for his product. Pinnacle's the same way. I love Pinnacle. I've been a long-time supporter of Pinnacle. I've pushed all their products. I'm a big fan of pretty much everything they've done. But I don't think they need to go to Kickstarter anymore. They're using it as a pre-order system, and I think it's unfair. I just don't like it. And then there's always delays, and there's problems, and there's there's always people that, don't get their product on time and they get a lot of bad publicity, just put the damn books in the store and let them sell. It literally, in my opinion, comes down to greed. They're doing the Kickstarters because how do I put this? Because I don't want to come off angry about this, although I am Mr. Mean, let's face it. I'm angry about a lot of things. The point is, they're using these large publishers, and Ulysses Spiel is one of these guys as well, and I love Ulysses Spiel as well. The Dark Eye is one of my favorite games. But they're using Kickstarter as a pre-order mechanism so that they can save money and maximize profits. Now, on a business side of that, I have no problem with that. It makes total sense. That's what you do. The whole point of being in business and making a buck is to make a buck. So if you can find a way to make your product and cut your costs so that more profit goes into your pocket, that's phenomenal. That's a win. That's the American dream, right? That's what we want to do. Where I have a problem is when you have enough operating capital and you're letting greed exceed your customer service or your customers' expectations, or even just serving the community. Because let's face it, if you do Kickstarter, the money goes from your account to Kickstarter now, or the Kickstarter company. And let's use Monte Cook, since I like picking on Monte Cook. Your money goes straight from your bank account to Kickstarter. Kickstarter takes approximately 7% of the full value of whatever your Kickstarter was. They take 7%. And then the rest goes to Monte Cook. Now, Monte Cook is a big enough name and is going to print in such a large volume that he's going to get awesome discounts and deals for printing those products, whatever they may be, widget A. So he's going to send them over to China or Canada or maybe even sometimes here in the US, and he's going to have it printed. He's going to get an awesome discount, which is good for him. It's good for his bottom line. And he's going to have that book printed. The problem here is that's great for Monte Cook Design. It's bad for you and I. It's bad because he knows I only need 10,000 copies of this book, so he's not going to lose any money if he prints 20,000 copies and they don't sell, because he knows he only needs to print 10,000 copies. So he's going to get an awesome discount for telling the printer, I need 10,000 copies hard, and they're going to print 10,000 copies. So he's going to get a discount because he's printing in volume and he's paying up front because he's got the money. You already gave it to him. As opposed to the standard method of, I'm a game publisher or I'm a book publisher or I make widgets, whatever it may be. I have to come up with the operating capital. I have to send it off. I have to send a check to the publisher and say, hey, this is what I want done. Here's a check for $40,000. And I want, and then they start the process. Actually, the money doesn't go to the printer until the proofs come back and the publisher approves of them and says, yes, every book's going to come like this when it comes off the line. This is what I want. Yes, proceed with the project. And then they send them a check, the transfer funds, whatever. And they get the printer gets that money, and then they start printing it, and then they ship it. And in that cost is also the cost of shipping. I mean, they'll say, okay, to ship from China to the U.S., on a freighter is going to cost an extra $5,000 for 10 pallets. Whatever the cost may be. And I'm spitballing numbers because I don't have that information. So they're going to include that in their $40,000. So $45,000 for 10,000 books, whatever the cost may be, and they're done. But they've got to come up with that money up front, as opposed to the Kickstarter guys, which already have it. Now, the flip side is, then that book has to be sent to a distributor, and then from the distributor it has to go to the stores, and then you walk into your favorite local game store and you go, ooh, it's the new Monte Cook Design book, yay, and you buy it and you walk away. Well, now Monte Cook has got a cut of the pie, the distributor's got a cut of the pie, and the store gets a cut of the pie. Everybody gets a cut of the pie. You're helping the economy, you're helping everybody. With Kickstarter, you're not helping everybody, because it doesn't go to a distributor. It doesn't go to the game store 9 out of 10 times. All that money stays in Monte Cook's pocket. And Monte Cook is very rich right now. And and yeah, he's got a company, But we don't hear anything. We don't hear anything good he's doing for the community. We don't hear anything. He puts out a newsletter every so often, but it's all, to me, it's just greed, and that's why I don't support their games. I don't like Numenera. I think it's a very innovative game. I like The Strange. I think The Strange is great. Gods of the Fall is one of my favorite settings, but I won't play the games. I won't support them, and I'm not buying any more product from them because I just don't like the way they do business. Come out with a book in the stores that I can go to my game store and I can buy it instead of looking for it on the used game store or looking for it on Amazon 8 months after the Kickstarter. You're doing the rest of the buying public a disservice, and you're just being greedy. That's their business, though. If that's how his business model works and he's putting his kids through college, good for him. I don't have to support him. So that's just my rant about that. And I think Pinnacle's in the same boat. I don't think Pinnacle needs to do Kickstarters. I think they're a big enough publisher. Ulysses Spiel's the same way. They're a big enough publisher. They don't need to pimp themselves out on Kickstarter. Leave Kickstarter to the little guys, the guys trying to put stuff out and make things. Malifaux is a small press company. They make a really great miniatures game called Malifaux, and they've got a big war game called Into the Breach, and then they've got a tabletop RPG called Through the Breach, all based on their IP. They don't do Kickstarter. I think they did a Kickstarter for the first edition of the RPG, and then they decided to come out with a second edition of Through the Breach, and they did not go to Kickstarter. So there's proof that a small press company can do it. Did they make a shit ton of money? Probably not. They made enough money to keep their doors open as a business, and they made enough money to keep spitting out product, and everybody loves their product. I don't know too many people who play Malifaux that don't like it, because why would you play a game you don't like? I love Malifaux. I love the RPG. I love the miniatures game. I think it's great. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. I've done a couple reviews. Go back in the archive and check it out. So that's my rant on Kickstarter and why I have a beef with it. And then I see guys like, Shattered and Get Wrecked, Biomundus. These are small indie press companies, they have full-time day jobs, and they went to Kickstarter to get their book produced because they don't have the $45,000 to get a print run done. And it worked for them, and so that's awesome. That, to me, is what Kickstarter is for. Kickstarter's not for, I'm making a new Apple Watch, and I want to go to, because I know everybody's going to buy it, so I want to just keep more money in my pocket. That's just greed. And I'm not saying greed is necessarily a bad thing. We all want to get rich. Lord knows I would love to have $100,000 sitting in the bank and not have to worry about, my kid's college future and all that. But I also have my personal integrity that I care about. And, if it means selling out and doing that, I'm probably not going to do it, even if it meant securing my future. I just don't think I would do that. That's just me. I've worked hard for everything I have. Nobody's given me anything in my life. I've fought and scraped for everything. And I have much respect and kudos to these small press publishers who put out these games and, basically work their balls off and go to Kickstarter and get it done and then provide a product that is worth it, worth the money that you spent on Kickstarter. So kudos to them. Shame on you, big companies, for using Kickstarter as a pre-order. But, all right, so we're done with that. That's my rant for Kickstarter. Suede. Oh my God, is this awesome or not? And I've been reading a couple reviews and everything. I'm not going to do a review of it because I've reviewed enough Savage World stuff, and this has been out for a while. It was a Kickstarter. There's more than enough reviews out there. If enough people say, "Hey, please review Suede," then I will. But I don't plan on reviewing it. I just wanted to bring it up, show that I bought my PDF copy. I've got it printed off and spiral bound, and it's awesome. It's a beautifully done book. It's really well done. It's what I expect from Pinnacle. No, I didn't get it on Kickstarter. I bought the PDF myself. So very happy with it. I think it looks amazing. I'm very proud of them. They came out with a very awesome edition of Savage Worlds, and it's going to last another 20 years, I'm sure. My spiral binding is coming apart, so pardon me while I try to fix that. There we go. I'm very happy with it. The new chase rules are phenomenal. They did away with charisma. They've kind of put some skills together. It's really well done. It plays even faster. So the 3 Fs, fun, furious, and fast, fun, and furious, is Savage Worlds adventure Adventure Edition, which is lovingly referred to as Suede. So if you haven't picked this up yet, do yourself a favor, go to Pinnacle, buy the PDF. If you can find the physical book on sale in a retail store, go for it. Good luck with that, because it was a Kickstarter, and I don't know if we'll see it in the store. I know you can buy it straight from Pinnacle, so there you go. And if I see a physical copy on sale at like Amazon, I'll probably pick it up. But until then, I got the PDF. I'm happy. It's all I need right now. I'm not even running Savage Worlds, so I know they did a Kickstarter for Rifts to bring it into the Suede edition. I didn't back that because, again, I'm opposed to it. Yeah, I've already explained why. I'll wait till the books are physically available and I can buy them. I did download, though, the PDF of the conversion, and I haven't even had a chance to look at it, but I'm sure as always it'll be fine. I have no beef. Pinnacle does great stuff, so I'm sure this will be amazing. So just wanted to say that was on my radar, and obviously if you're a fan of Savage Worlds and you haven't upgraded to Suede, you should do so. They've put out conversion articles for I think all of their major lines. And like I said, if I remember correctly, they did a Kickstarter for Rift's second edition, quote, or upgraded edition, but they're adding a bunch more stuff in, more monsters and aliens, more Coalition bad guys, and Federation of Magic and all that stuff, and Tolkien and all that fine stuff. So, totally awesome. Go support it if that's your thing. I think the Savage Rifts is awesome. I would love to get a game going. I'm having fun right now with Midgard, and I only have time in my life to run one thing. So last but not least, I did a Kickstarter a while back, earlier this year I think it was, for Carbon 2185, the Cyberpunk RPG. And the reason I backed it is, the art is phenomenal. Look at that cover. That cover is amazing. I think that's really cool. That screams cyberpunk to me. And I backed it because I was on a euphoric high from Esper Genesis, which is another. This is a 5th edition derivative, by the way. Esper Genesis is a 5th edition derivative, and I loved Esper Genesis. I was running an online game. We had like 5 or 6 players. We were having a blast. It was a lot of fun. And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for the threats database, aka the monster manual, and the GM book. And waiting, and kept, they were supposed to have been out, by November of last year, and they got pushed back for whatever reason. And again, small press, Alligator Alleys is literally one guy, I think. He might have a couple people working for him, but super nice guy. I don't have the Esper Genesis book in front of me. It's on the shelf somewhere. It's buried. Super nice. I watched a couple of interviews with him. The Kickstarter went gangbusters. They had a lot of stuff. But this is a prime example of Kickstarter gone bad. This guy made a shit ton of money from Kickstarter, overpromised and underdelivered. It is now, we're in September of 2019. All 3 books were supposed to have been out by November of 2017. We only have 2 of the books now. We just got the threats database. And I don't know if it's a physical book or if it's just the PDF. I don't think the physical book has actually come in. I think it's still on a slow boat from China, which nobody can do anything about that. But this is a prime example of Kickstarter, small press companies overpromising and underdelivering. Shotguns and Sorceries, you guys know my rant on that. Go back and check the archive if you haven't seen it. But I was super excited. I did not back the Kickstarter for Esper Genesis because I found out about it too late. And it was only my own procrastination. I knew about it. I kept saying, I'll get to it. But I was unemployed at the time. Money was really tight. And I was like, I can't, I got to feed my baby. I can't be buying RPGs. And so I just put it out on my radar. I downloaded the playtest document, or the primer, and was severely disappointed because the art in it was actually very shitty. The layout wasn't that great, and I wasn't impressed with it. It wasn't until I bought on a whim, I was working, and I bought the PDF. And I had a couple online friends that were like, hey, run a game we'll play. We miss playing with you. And so I was like, all right, well, and I started talking to some various people on Discord and on my Discord channel, and I said, hey, I picked up Esper Genesis. I was down in the cities in Minneapolis, and I went to the Source, which is an awesome gaming store, huge gaming store, and they had Esper Genesis, and they were having a discount, so I got 20% off the cover price. So I was like, well, yeah, I'll get it. So I bought it, and I fell in love with it. If you haven't seen Esper Genesis, do yourself a favor, go buy it. But buy it, maybe buy the PDF. Buy it from the aspect of you want to read it, you want to see what a really well done fifth edition conversion is. Don't buy it thinking, oh, I want to run this and I need more source material, because you'll be in for a shocker. The stuff's not out yet. It's still not out. Like I said, the PDF for the threats database is out, and that's awesome. And kudos to those guys for getting out, but shame on them for taking so long. And I even brought this up on the Discord channel. I said, the core book is out in PDF and in physical book, and that's great. I'm happy. And excuse me, let me retract. I did not buy it at the Source. I bought it on Amazon because I had some sort of coupon, or I think one of my viewers sent me a gift card or something for Amazon, and I used that to buy the book, so I got it like half off or whatever. So anyway, retraction made there. I bought it off of Amazon, and I fell in love with it. I was reading it. I gobbled it up. I literally read the whole book, and I wanted more. And so then I went and checked the Kickstarter page, and it was like, oh, delay, sorry, we're working on it. And okay, I get that. My problem is I go to their web store, I go to DriveThruRPG, and I see there's all these adventures, like 15, 20-page adventures for Esper Genesis written by other people. And some of them are written by the staff. I think it's Rick Escofleur or something like that is the guy behind Esper Genesis. And that's awesome. You're making money. I get it. He commissioned these writers to write these things. Your 2 out of your 3 core books are not even available, and the Kickstarter's been over for almost a year. That's a problem in my eyes. You're basically saying, I took your money, fuck you. And I don't like that. That's a pet peeve of mine. You overpromised and underdelivered. You can get these guys to write, and I get maybe you had to pay them, but how hard would it have been to call those guys and say, look, I'm stymied on this. I need some help. Let's put this on hold. Let's work out a new contract. You're still going to get paid for this, or you've already been paid for this, but now I would like to get you to help me on this because I'm way behind and my backers are upset and the buying public is upset. Mr. Mean is upset. We can't have that. We don't want that guy mad at us. And let's get this product out the door. I mean, we're a year later and we still don't have the books. It's ridiculous. And that's the downside of Kickstarter. And that's what's turning a lot of people off of Kickstarter, because a lot of times they'll say, oh yeah, I backed this on Kickstarter. And if I'm talking to 3 people, at least 1 to 2 out of those 3 people will be, oh, I don't do Kickstarter anymore. I'm tired of getting hosed, or I'm tired of waiting. And a lot of times it's on other products or, video games that, they took a whole bunch of money and they just scammed with the money. And that's a tragedy because, one bad apple ruins the bunch. But RPGs are falling into that category now as well. And tabletop games are falling into that category. Look at Palladium with their Robotech fiasco. I mean, this guy got a shit ton of money and never delivered. Wave 1 was the only thing that came out, and I don't even think all of Wave 1 made it out. And then he told the players, hey, sorry, put in a voucher and I'll give you the product for Wave 1. But I'm like, I want Wave 3. I gave you $300. I want the stuff in Wave 3 because that was the cool stuff. And it was just one excuse after another. And he's not been held out. He's not been held accountable. And I think that's a tragedy. I think he should be taken to court, and he should be sued, and he should have to give those people back their money plus damages. I think that's only fair. And on top of that, with that big fiasco, Harmony Gold pulled the license from him for Robotech. So he can't even make it right by reprinting or printing the 3D models that he was going to do and giving them to the customer, because he doesn't have the license to do it. He doesn't have the legality in order to produce that product anymore. So it's just a nightmare of a situation. So that being said, I backed Carbon 2185 because the designer is on Discord. He's very prolific, and he's awesome. Now, Carbon 2185, and I got the GM screen, and I've got some PDFs coming. I don't believe I have them yet. They're going to be sending them out, but they have kept us informed every step of the way. I think the book was slightly delayed, but not bad. They gave it to us pretty much when we were promised, which was by the end of summer. I think they said end of June, early July, and I think we didn't get it until end of July, early August, if I remember. So not horrible, but it was a mistake on their end. They fessed up to it. They went online and they told everybody, hey, if you're a backer, we're sorry. We screwed up. This is a mistake, and it's just because it's our first Kickstarter and we don't really know what we're doing and we're learning. And one of the things that I thought was really cool is he even came out and said, for those people who've done Kickstarters before, please get in touch with us and tell us some of the pitfalls. And to me, that's amazing, because what you're saying is, hey, I don't know everything. Teach me. Help me so I don't make the same mistakes you made. And I think that's awesome. That's great. So I backed the core book, and I bought the GM screen on the backer it after the thing was over, and they sent out the backer it surveys. And it's gorgeous. It is a beautiful book. I've been reading it. I'm about halfway through it. I've read character creation. I've read a little bit of the fluff. It's your standard dystopian, future. Very, very nifty ideas on, cyberpunk and it's everything. If you were a fan of R. Talsorian's Cyberpunk, you'll probably like this. If you're a bigger fan of D&D and you want, that cyberpunk flavor, but you don't want to go, major sci-fi like Esper Genesis, this is the game for you. Is this the game for Mr. Mean? No, I don't like it. At first I thought the layout of the book was great. I like the large print. Everything looks good. The art is solid. It's very much a mix of like computer generated and like, hand-drawn art. But it's very sparse. There's not a whole lot of art in the book. I will say the art that is there is exceptional. It's hardback. It's perfect bound. It's stitched. Even comes with a little ribbon, so you can mark your page. So the quality of the book, there's no doubt about it. I love the quality. The nice glossy pages are awesome. Like I said, the text is nice and large. It's easy to read, especially if you have bad eyes like me. But it's glossy, so if you're sitting outside trying to read it, the sun's going to reflect on, so that comes with its own set of problems. But even that, it's still worth it. The art, like I said, is very cyberpunk, very almost manga-ish, but not quite. It stays, thankfully, it didn't dip its toe into that arena. I think the art is very well representative of the game. The style of the book, the corporations, I think, are pretty cool. I think they've done a good job, with the corporations and the names. They don't have any goofy names so far that I found. The game is set in San Francisco. It's a different San Francisco than what we know, but it's 2185. What I don't like about it and why it's not for me and why I'll probably never run it is the mechanics. It just feels like what Pathfinder did with Starfinder. They threw goblins in space, changed up the character creation, and said, okay, here's a sci-fi game. That's kind of what this feels like to me. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not for me. You may love it. I highly recommend if you're on the fence, pick up the PDF, run it for your group, and see if they like it. They may all like it. If you're a big fan of 5th edition and you want a cyberpunk setting, then this may just be your cup of tea. It's not for me. I think it's cool. I'm glad I kickstarted it. I think the book is pretty. I love it. I'm going to leave it sitting out so people can see it. But I don't think I want to run it, and that's kind of a shame. And part of that is kind of the burnout from Esper Genesis. It's another Kickstarter product that I was super excited. I was so gung-ho for Esper Genesis. I did so much stuff for it, and I was all excited. And then they just kind of screwed me by not putting out product. And that's their fault. That's nobody else. You can blame the shipping company. You can blame the artist. But at the end of the day, it's your company. You're responsible for getting that stuff out. These guys ran into problems, and unlike Esper Genesis, where they gave us a ton of excuses, these guys came out and said, hey, we messed up. This is what we're doing to fix it. They gave us options and they said, this is how we're going to fix it. And then they made sure those obligations were met. And the book came out relatively on time. And the products are out. I mean, I got my GM screen. You could have got, if you ordered the dice, you got the dice, you got the poster, you got some of the source books if you ordered those. So I'm getting all the source books in PDF. So like I said, I'm just waiting on those. And they may be sitting with me at Drive-Thru-RPG or in background. I just haven't checked because I haven't had time. But it doesn't have that cyberpunk feel for me. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's nothing against this. I do want to say I think this is a good game. I just think it's not the game for me. And like I said, will I run it? Probably not. I have really no interest in running this. I'm glad I have it. It's a good read. I will pick it up from time to time. I will, of course, steal ideas from it so that I can use them in my other games because it's got a lot. The corporations in here are phenomenal. I really like them. I like a lot of the character classes. I just think some of the names are a little wonky. It turned me off a little bit. I just didn't like it. It's almost like they were trying to be a little bit of Cyberpunk and a little bit of Shadowrun. And, there's no fantasy races in here. It's all human. And they have some backgrounds. And the way they do it is really well done. It's just not for me. Now, that being said, Altorsorian last month released Cyberpunk, the Red Box Edition. And let me make sure I got that name correct. Where is it? Let me make sure I got my ducks in a row. I'm not sure if I downloaded it on this PC. Something tells me I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. So that's a shame on me. But the nice part is I can go to my Drive-Thru-RPG and I can download it because I have it on my other laptop. I don't have it on this one, which is my fault. But there we go, Drive-Thru-RPG. So I want to get the name right. That's all. I just want to make sure I've got it right. Fight with it. Let's see if we can find. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, there it is. It's Cyberpunk Jumpstart Kit. So you can get it right now on Drive-Thru-RPG for $15. The guys over at Altorsorian sent me a preview copy. Mike Pondsmith is taking a break from interviews and stuff, but I do plan on getting him on the channel. But he's been traveling back and forth to Poland, and he's an old guy like me, and so he's a little burnt out right now. But he has. I talked to his PR guy, and he said he was willing to come on the channel. But they did send me a copy of the Jumpstart Kit, and I gotta say, really liking what I'm seeing. Very much similar to the old Cyberpunk. It's still a stat and a skill and a 1d10. They've changed some stuff up with character creation for the better, I think. There's still kind of a life path thing. I haven't gone all the way through it because I just haven't had time, but it is definitely probably going to be the next review that I do. I'm going to be on vacation next week, so I might take it with me because it's a PDF. I'll put it on my tablet and I'll read it while I'm relaxing out by the pool and all that fun stuff. So so keep an eye out for that. I think how long we're coming up on almost an hour, 48 minutes. I've babbled enough. But that's the kind of the things of where we're at right now. I just wanted to point them out and show everybody kind of the things we're on. I'll get back to the in-depth reviews or the Mr. Mean reviews because they're never in-depth. But I'll get back to those when I get back from my little mini vacation. I'm just disappearing for the weekend with my wife and my son to the cities. And then it'll be back to business as normal, come next week or the week after. Hopefully I'll try to belt out another video this week. Maybe it'll even be the Cyberpunk review. I'm hoping. and we do a compare and contrast to Carbon 2185. But guys, that's what's going on with Mr. Mean. I just wanted to throw some stuff out there. I hadn't done a video in a week, so I wanted to get something out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, a big thank you to all my subscribers. Big thank you to everybody who donates. I really appreciate it. It goes a long way. Like I said, got me my awesome, cool internet chair. You feel like a real YouTuber when you've got your YouTube chair. But I will say it's a comfy chair. Amazon, $80. Anybody needs it, let me know. I'll send you the link. It's pretty solid. I like I said, I do these for fun. I do them because, well, 550 of you have said you like it, and that's, to me, that's a lot of people. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch the videos, and I appreciate you taking the time to comment. And I try to comment, or at least acknowledge that you've made a comment on the post. So please feel free. Anything you want to discuss, hit me up on Discord. If there's something you want to see reviewed, feel free to send me a copy. Please make sure it's a legal copy. You can always gift it to me through DriveThruRPG if they have a PDF of it. Or you contact me. I'll send you my mailing address if you want to send me a hard copy of anything. I'll be more than happy to do a review of it. I do have a review coming of the Magic system for The Dark Eye. I got my PDF copy. I did Kickstart that, even though I said I wasn't going to back major corporations. I did back it only because it wasn't going to be available in stores until way next year, and I wanted it. And their Kickstart, not that it excuses them from the whole process of what I explained earlier, but I feel that their Kickstarters are serious bang for the buck. And so I backed it at the physical book level. I'll get a bunch of other stuff. They do a lot of physical product that you'll get as well. There's going to be a lot of pamphlets, and they do their Herald, which is like their newspaper, which is great as a prop when you're running the RPG. People are selling the newspaper, so you can put it out, and when you take a break for a restroom break or whatever, the players can kind of read it, and it's kind of cool. So a lot of cool products coming down the pipeline. A lot of good things happening with my job. I'm very excited. I have a great job, and I'm looking forward to some big changes. Hopefully that'll mean a lot of great things for the channel as well, and hopefully a big move in my future, which I hope will happen. We'll see. It's too early to tell. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I am excited, and I am putting my best foot forward at work, and I really do enjoy my job. I enjoy the people I work with, and I'm just very excited to finally have a decent career, and a company that cares about its employees and about the culture that you have at work. So it's pretty awesome. So anyway, that's really it for Mr. Mean. I'm going to sign off today. Again, peace, love, and happiness to all you guys. Thank you for all the support for the last 2 years. It's been a rough 2 years. There's light at the end of the tunnel where, I'm off public assistance. I'm getting a steady paycheck. I've never had to use like welfare ever in my life, and so it saved me, guys. It kept a roof over my head. The VA administration, paid my rent and helped me, and so for those of you that donate to like the veterans benefits and stuff, I can't tell you thank you enough, because your donations kept me off the street, kept my family warm and fed. So if you have a little extra money this Christmas, I recommend donating to any of the veterans benefits that are out there. The local one here in Minnesota is called MACV, M-A-C-V, and it's an amazing organization that really, really helps people out, and they do everything they can to get you a right foot up. Everything from job placement to just giving you warm clothes for the winter. In Minnesota here, it gets a little cold. So they made sure we had warm socks and everything, and just amazing, guys. So anyway, that's it for Mr. Mean. As always, peace, love, and hair grease. And remember, as always, Mr. Mean says, be nice.